Hello, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm John, an old YouTuber, and PC gamer. It's close to 9 p.m. It starts getting dark. We have the evening news, and I did find a lot more about the Intel CPUs. I forgot all this micro architectures. I did find a lot more new there. Of course, this is the 7th generation. I was thinking, what about the number 3, 4, 5? So I did find some more there on a list called List of Intel Codenames. Like that, but I'm too tired to do this. I have to do it when I have got some list of Intel codenames. I'm looking for more CPUs, so but I'll add some more there. I did find more list, but I don't like to do this now because I just like to continue this. So we got a lot today. I did finish a lot today. So let's finish the Motorola, then I can start tomorrow there. Could do some of this. So let's do that, and it's 9 p.m. Let's go get some cola. Then just do this. This is 15 pages. So this will take a lot more than like 1 hour, 20 minutes. Then it will be like 10:30. So that's fine, but just stop there. Then I can play a little bit GTA 5, but I cannot really play because my computer is too slow. I can walk around a little bit, or just watch some Netflix. I'm watching the old Star Trek from 1968. I've not done that like more than 1 week or more. Yes, well, that's fine. That's fine because I've been watching Netflix many years. That's good, but this I can actually learn something. But they did mention this Motorola 68,000. Did mention that it should be a very good and powerful old CPU from the 70s. At the same time we got the Intel 8086 and the Intel 88, so that's the old one. So let's read about that and finish my day to do that. Yes, I need half a minute to go to do myself ready. I have to lay down in my bed. Yes, probably I will. That's too long. That's 50. Probably I will need a break. And we have 2 videos is ready to be public. But let's get started. Or let's wait. Let's just put this public. Close the windows. No, let's get a little bit more daylight. It's night, 1 more hour. We're not too close. Do that if I need a break. No, they're not ready. Doesn't matter because not many would like to watch about this Motorola 6800 CPU from the 70s. Not many would like to see a video with that. Yes, let's get started. Yes, read to the end, activate. Yes, my computer was crashing. I had to reboot. Read to end of documents.
Motorola 68000. Motorola 68000 Architecture Designer Motorola bits 16/32-bit introduced 1979 Design Siskbrinking Condition Coding Dianispig Registers 8 32-bit Data Registers 7 32-bit Address Registers Stack Pointer Address Register 7 Motorola 68000 CPU General Information launched 1979 designed by Motorola Performance Max. CPU clock rate 4 MHz to 16.67s data width 16 bits address width 24 bits architecture and classification instruction set Motorola 68000 series physical specifications transistors 68,000 1. Package, S, 64-pin DIP. History successor Motorola 68010. The Motorola 68000, sometimes shortened to Motorola 68K or M68K and usually pronounced 68000, is a 16/32-bit complex instruction set computer, CISC. Microprocessor introduced in 1979 by Motorola Semiconductor Products Sector. The design implements a 32-bit instruction set, with 32-bit register sound a 16-bit internal data bus. 2. The address bus is 24 bits and does not use memory segmentation, which made it easier to program for. Internally, it uses a 16-bit data arithmetic logic unit, ALU, and two more 16-bit ALUs used mostly for addresses, 2, and has a 16-bit external data bus. 3. For this reason, Motorola termed it a 16/32-bit processor. As one of the first widely available processors with a 32-byte instruction set, and running at relatively high speeds for the era, the 68K was a popular design through the 1980s. It was widely used in a new generation of personal computers with graphical user interfaces, including the Macintosh, Amiga, Atari ST, and X68000. The 1988 Mega Drive console is also powered by a 68000. The 68K was soon expanded with more family members implementing full 32-bit ALUs as part of the growing Motorola 68000 series. The original 68K is generally software forward compatible with the rest of the line despite being limited to a 16-bit wide external bus. 2. After 43 years in production, the 68000 architecture is still in as. 4. 5. Contents. History sequence sourcing. CMOS versions. As a microcontroller core. Applications. Architecture address bus. Internal registers. Status register. Instruction set. Privilege levels. Pre-release XC68000 chip made in 1979 die of Motorola 68000 interrupts. Instruction set details. 6080C000. Example code. See also. References. Further reading. External links. History. Motorola MC68000, leadless chip carrier, CLCC, package. Motorola's first widely produced CPU was the Motorola 6800. Although a capable design, it was eclipsed by more powerful designs, such as the Zilog Z80, and less expensive designs, such as MOS Technology 6502, MOS 6502. As the sales prospects of 6800 dimmed, Motorola began a new design to replace it. This became the Motorola Advanced Computer System on Silicon project, or MAX, begun in 1976. The MAX aimed to develop an entirely new architecture without backward compatibility with the 6800. It ultimately does retain ARPU's protocol compatibility mode for existing 6800 peripheral devices, and a version with an 8-bit data bus was produced. However, the designers mainly focused on the future, or forward compatibility, which gives the 68000 design a head start against later 32-bit instruction set architectures, ISAs. For instance, the CPU registers are 32 bits wide, though few self-contained structures in the processor itself operate on 32 bits at a time. The MACSS team drew heavily on the influence of mini-computer processor design, such as the PDP-11 and VAX systems, which are similarly microcode-based. In the mid-1970s, the 8-bit microprocessor manufacturers raced to introduce the 16-bit generation. National Semiconductor had been first with its IMP16 and PACE processors in 1973-1975, but these had issues with speed. Intel had worked on their advanced 16/32-bit Intel IAPX 432, alias 8800, since 1975 and their Intel 8086 since 1976. It was introduced in 1978 but became widespread in the form of the almost identical 8088 in the IBM PC a few years later. Arriving late to the 16-bit arena affords the new processor more transistors, roughly 40,000 active versus 20,000 active in the 8086, 32-bit Mach-1 instructions, and acclaimed general ease of use. The original MC68000 was fabricated using an MOS process with a 3.5 micrometers feature size. Formally introduced in September 1979, 6 initial samples were released in February 1980, with production chips available over the counter in November. 7 initial speed grades are 4, 6, and 8 MHz 10 MHz chips became available during 1981, and 12.5 MHz chips by June 1982. 7 The 16.67 MHz 12F version of the MC68000, the fastest version of the original MOS chip, was not produced until the late 1980s. Motorola MC68000, plastic leaded chip carrier, PLCC, package. IBM considered the 68000 for the IBM PC but chose the Intel 8088 because the 68000 was not ready. Walden C. Rines wrote that thus Motorola, with its superior technology, lost the single most important design contest of the last 50 years. 8. IBM Instruments briefly sold the 68000-based IBM System 9000 laboratory computer systems. The 68K instruction set is particularly well suited to implement Unix 9, and the 68000 and its successors became the dominant CPUs for Unix-based workstations including Sun workstations and Apollo /domain workstations. The 68000 also is used for mass-market computers such as the Apple Lisa Macintosh, Amiga, and Atari ST. The 68000 is used in Microsoft Xenix systems, as well as an early NetWare Unix-based server. The 68000 is used in the first generation of desktop laser printers including the original Apple Incorporated LaserWriter and the HP LaserJet. In 1981, Motorola introduced the Motorola 68000 Educational Computer Board, a single-board computer for educational and training purposes which in addition to the 68000 itself contained memory, I/O devices, programmable timer and wire wrap area for custom circuitry. The board remained in use in U.S. colleges as a tool for learning assembly programming until the early 1990s. 10. In 1982, the 68000 received a minor update to its instruction set architecture, ISA, to support virtual memory and to conform to the Popek and Goldberg virtualization requirements. The updated chip is called 68010. It also adds a new loop mode which speeds up small loops, and increases overall performance by about 10% at the same clock speeds. A further extended version, which exposes 31 bits of the address bus, was also produced in small quantities as the 68012. To support lower-cost systems and control applications with smaller memory sizes. Motorola introduced the 8-bit compatible MC68008, also in 1982. This is a 68000 with an 8-bit data bus and a smaller, 20-bit, address bus. After 1982, Motorola devoted more attention to the 68020 and 88000 projects' second sourcing. Hitachi HD 68000, Thomson TS 68000. Several other companies were second source manufacturers of the HMOS 68000. These included Hitachi HD 68000, who shrank feature size to 2.7 micrometers for their 12.5 MHz version. 7. Mostek MK 68000, Rockwell R68000, Synetics SCN 68000, Thomson /SGS Thomson, originally F68000 and later TS 68000, and Toshiba TMP 68000. Toshiba was also a second source maker of the CMOS 68HC000, TMP 68HC000. Encrypted variants of the 68000, being the Hitachi FD1089 and FD1094, stored decryption keys for opcodes and opcode data in battery-backed memory and were used in certain Sega arcade systems including System 16 to prevent piracy and illegal bootleg games. 11. CMOS versions. Motorola MC68HC000 LC8. The 68HC000, the first CMOS version of the 68000, was designed by Hitachi and jointly introduced in 1985. 12. Motorola's version is called the MC68HC000, while Hitachi's is the HD68HC000. The 68HC000 offers speeds of 820 MHz. Except for using CMO circuitry, it behaved identically to the MOS MC68000, but their change to CMOS greatly reduced its power consumption. The original MOS MC68000 consumed around 1.35 watts at an ambient temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, regardless of clock speed, while the MC68HC000 consumed only 0.13 watts at 8 MHz and 0.38 watts at 20 MHz. Unlike CMOS circuits, MOS still draws power when idle, so power consumption varies little with clock rate. Apple selected the 68HC000 for use in the Macintosh Portable. Motorola replaced the MC68008 with the MC68HC001 in 1990. 13. This chip resembles the 68HC000 in most respects, but its data bus can operate in either 16-bit or 8-bit mode, depending on the value of an input pin at reset. Thus, like the 68008, it can be used in systems with cheaper 8-bit memories. The later evolution of the 68000 focused on more modern embedded control applications and on-chip peripherals. The 68EC000 chip and SCM68000 core remove the M6800 peripheral bus, and exclude the MOV from SR instruction from user mode programs, making the 68EC000 and 68SEC000 the only 68000 CPU